Explosions rocking the Belarusian capital a few hours after polls have closed. Opposition supporters have come out in thousands to protest the initial election results. Riot police is blocking the entrance to a large square and is firing stun grenades into the crowd. A police truck drives into protesters. Ambulances are rushing in to take the injured to hospital.
Police threw the grenade into the crowd and the leg of man was broken into two parts. It was awful. And then ambulance take him and go away with him.
Why are you here tonight?
I want some changes in my country. You know, I'm tired of that. Lukashenko dictatorship must to be cancelled.
I want to live in a free country and my children to live in a free country. I want them to have a future. I want them to live here and work here and not be forced to leave the country. My granddaughter is 16 years old and asks me, where shall I go?
Protesters put up barricades on the main roads to prevent police cars of getting near them.
Defiance and anger here on the streets of Minsk. Thousands of people have come out to protest to what they call fake elections. There are thousands here. They're spread all over the square. Not only here, but on the other side of the police line, all the way over there. There are thousands of them more. And they're not waiting for the official election result any longer.
Earlier in the day, their candidate Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya had come out of hiding to cast her vote. She had left her apartment on the eve of the elections, fearing arrest. At first, a reluctant presidential candidate, she has grown into the biggest hope many Belarusians have for change. Tsikhanouskaya's election rallies attracted the largest crowds Belarus has seen in decades. After casting his vote, President Alexander Lukashenko called the opposition weak. For decades, he's enjoyed solid support in the former Soviet country. Lately, he's faced criticism for downplaying the COVID-19 crisis and worsening economy. Criticism that has rapidly grown into the largest threat to his 26 years rule. While before the authorities may have managed to control the opposition by using force, this time around people say and show that they are beyond fear. Vaessen, Al Jazeera, Minsk.
Some breaking news now. We are hearing that the government in Lebanon has resigned. That is the latest that we are hearing from government ministers. This, of course, follows that massive explosion at Beirut port on the August the 4th, which killed some 200 people. We have had several ministers resign in the past day or so, but now we are hearing that the government has indeed resigned. We will get more on what this means. The caretaker cabinet or government that we are expecting to take its place when we can get our correspondent Bernard Smith, who's on the ground, up. But for now, that is the breaking news. We are hearing that the Lebanese government has resigned and Hassan Diab is expected to speak in about an hour's time. Well, let's go back to Belarus, and we're going to go to Jonah Hull, who's actually standing by outside the Belarusian embassy in London. Jonah, how is Europe reacting to this election?
Pretty universally negatively, it has to be said, both towards the election and the conduct of the election itself and to the aftermath. The loudest voice, if you like, Ursula von der Leyen, the European Commission President, demanding that the results of the election be published transparently and in full as quickly as possible, saying that harassment and violent repression of peaceful protesters has no place in Europe. She's backed up by her foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, calling for the immediate release of all of those 3,000 or so people who've been detained during the election period and over the last few hours. And the loudest voice among the member states of the European Union is Germany. At this point, the government in Berlin talking about its strong doubts about this election, saying that minimum standards have clearly not been met. the foreign ministry in Berlin talking about a setback for Belarus, alluding to recent times in which Alexander Lukashenko has tried to build bridges with Europe as his relationship with Russia and President Putin has appeared to fray. There's even talk of sanctions possibly being reimposed. The ministry has observed massive repression and arbitrary arrests in the run-up to the election, says the German foreign ministry, and the government there, it says, used a policy of intimidation to target journalists and bloggers. And this sort of chorus of condemnation continuing. Other countries in the EU close to Belarus, close to its borders, Latvia, Lithuania, the Czech Republic, Poland calling for an emergency session of the EU. None of this, of course, completely unprecedented or unexpected when you consider that foreign observers on the ground watching elections in Belarus haven't found one to be free, fair or credible since 1995.
And of course, as Step was reporting, there were huge protests as a result. We will be monitoring that this evening as well. For now, Jonah Holt, thank you.